Good evening, class. This is Professor Puente, and this week I'm your guest lecturer. I guess your typical lecturer. I'm going to definitely get through these objectives. We have your class members here, and they're all working through any technical issue to try to get to this live class. Again, the live class works the way you go online, you go on D2L, you listen to the entire video of what's going on, and you fill in your discussion board. There will be a quiz this week over these objectives. You have any questions, you let me know. Again, if you want to join the live class, you can always email me. I've done a pretty good job to get people to email. I do want to say something. It has to do with technology use. Unfortunately, as much as I love to help you, I'm not able to get to the details of your computer systems or your software. Really look up things, look it all up. If I ask you to go to this application, look it up, Google it. There is a lot of information out there on how to use technology. And this is part of business, to getting to be able to research items. In business, when you're going to go and become a when you're going to become someone's provider, in other words, they're going to be your client, they're going to want you to be in very good shape in technology, and hopefully this is one of them. Those who are good in good shape with technology are going to be fine in the world. So push yourself to getting to know how these systems work. You can ask your classmates always, and please let us know where you need help. Otherwise, let's definitely keep going. um, all right, so objective 13: identify key variables. Solutions to problems are abstract ideas, not tangible objects you can pick up and hold. That's really important. Solutions are not usually made of things, they're ideas. Instead, identify the key variables and observable indicators that show whether your solution is succeeding or failing. It is important that you look at the variables and see how you're going to succeed from that. Okay? Select an appropriate level of monitoring. When you're looking and you're monitoring for the solution, the level of monitoring, follow-up, and control variables for each problem. Maybe because you have to keep an eye on this system so you can further get better at keeping a close eye. Okay, and it kind of gives you a figure to that shape, a triangle: close monitoring, regular monitoring, and occasional monitoring. And this is, of course, you're trying to make sure you're viewing the system to view for solutions. So monitoring is a situation. Even when you can get things recorded, you still need a person to view it, to observe. And this is what it's kind of telling you. So involve others with the process. Make sure you involve others with the process. Always ask people's opinions of things, even if you don't feel like they're expert opinions, just so you can get a different angle. That's just so you can get an idea of what they see. Your eyes lie to you, let me tell you. Your eyes absolutely lie to you. Be persistent. Persistence wins the game. It always does. So spend some time every day monitoring, managing, and working the problem. In most cases, it is better to spend an hour or two every day managing your project than devoting a full day once a week. Remember that it's about a longevity. That's like a habit. Habit is very well met if it's about 4 or 5 times a week. You can ask any runner that. Make corrections promptly. So if you see these issues arise, make sure you kind of calibrate quickly so you don't get off track. So you find a solution ASAP. Okay. So let me know, guys out there in the decisions class, what do you guys think about that? Type in your information so you can get your discussion credit here. And I will grade that response. So let me know about objective 13. And let's move on, and I'll get back to them. Verifying a solution. So objective 14 is about verifying a solution. And this whole class, of course, is more than just decisions, but problem solving as well. So your objective 14 wants to let you know to define success. Define a successful solution using objective measures, if possible. For example, Quest wants to increase sales by 12%. Okay. In other cases, success means that major symptoms disappear. So there's definitely a way for you to define success, and you have to find it. What does that mean? In my business, that means a very good month in closing deals. Okay, test your solution. Though a solution seems to be working superficially, it might not break down under stress. Test your solution to make sure it is successful. Determine a worst case scenario, and that worst case scenario gives you an idea on how your solution is going to be tested. Okay, avoid the problem in the future. Overall, if you don't continue on, um, if you're having a problem, and you want to avoid it, you have a problem and you want to avoid it in the future, consider how well your solution holds up over time. So maybe the solution will not go into the future, will not help you. So assess, because you tested your solution, and realize that maybe the future may change some variables. Learn from the process. When you solve a problem, you and the organization should learn from the experience. Just because you got the results you needed doesn't mean you need to learn from the problem, from the process. Sometimes failures help you more. And the reason I say that's because with a failure, you remember what you did wrong. With success, you actually may sometimes forget. And that may prove to be costly. And take credit for your success. Your ability to solve problems and make decisions are among your most valuable professional skills. This is what you get paid to do in college, guys. You go to college to learn to make decisions. Decisions are the things that give you value. And this is why most of us don't work with our hands. We work with our head, right, to make decisions. So let's look at some of the responses. Karen says, at work, I have to be persistent in meeting my sales goals. I have to meet a number of 10 per month. I don't, my assistant manager will give me a warning. Okay, Karen, maybe you can let us know a little bit what you do there, because they're obviously very, very careful with their benchmarks. Marisa, I try to be persistent doing my homework instead of procrastinating until the hours before it's due. I make less mistakes that way and it's less stressful. And let me tell you, Marisa, some people want to not be stressed doing their homework, and they leave it, they do it very quickly to get it out of the way. And some people wait to the last minute. And I'm the professor that's like, look, you wait to the last minute, it's done, it's done. Just don't pass that minute, because then you'll get points off. Some people appreciate the rush of getting the work done correctly, and sometimes feel the pressure will help them. So just want to give you the other perspective, Marisa. Sonia says, yes, definitely agree with that. Consistently working on your projects and finding solutions as problem surfaces. Hitting it on the head, learn from your mistakes, and always ask others more experienced, other seasoned than yourself. Okay, thank you, Sonia. Just wanted to maybe a little, with your answer, maybe put a little more than just what the textbook says. Maybe go a little deeper on how this pertains to you. I like how you use the example of runners and being persistent. If you want to get better at anything, you need to spend time on it. I know that from experience at work. I try to be persistent and make sure I manage the problem correctly. Yes, Lauren, that was a very good response. And you see what Lauren did? She went up that pyramid I showed you guys earlier and created, I actually applied what I was saying. Thank you. Monitoring is important to make sure everything is running the way it should be. Persistence is needed for any problems. If you don't have persistence, nothing will get it done, or it won't get done the way it should be. It will be sloppy. Thank you, Andrea. So let's go into the last two objectives. Okay, you're doing well. Objective 15. Consider when to use adaptive techniques. And this objective is about using adaptive techniques. Adapting is very important for you. Hopefully, I don't know if you hear that, but that's my little one, my baby, trying to go to sleep, and it's loud. So as a parent, I have to adapt. I have to be able to close the door, making sure that she's being watched. But I adapt. Sometimes I don't get time to sleep. But guess what? I adapt. This is something important for you guys. Adaptive techniques. If you don't adapt, you're probably going to feel the pressure. And in business, I will tell you, in business decisions, nothing goes according to plan. It's not supposed to. It's going to be a little interesting. How you make decisions in those situations will make you that different, will make you that valuable person. So manage by exception. When time is limited, managing by exception may be appropriate. Again, that means spending available time by concentrating on the most important issues. So not necessarily just going down a list of things you need to do, but tackling the things that need to be done because they're the most crucial. Prioritizing, in other words. So Stagger your decisions. When you're faced with an expensive option, maybe consider making increment choices first. Make partial intermediate decisions to avoid committing a major decision. See, people think when you make a decision, it is yes or no. Something else that people think about decisions. Hey, do I make $1 million or do I owe $1 million? You see how those two are very easy decisions. Most people would say, I want to make $1 million. That's not a decision. Yeah, it's an easy decision, but a difficult decision. Whenever you have to do something, how are you getting to that conclusion? And maybe you could do part of it, not all of it. Or maybe you can table for some of it. That way you have a better time. These are the things that they're saying, stagger your decision. And then hedge your bets. Committing to a single option alternative is inherently risky. Always have a rainy day, a room for a rainy day. Absolutely. You definitely need to understand you make plans and you build these plans according to these principles we're learning. And it states, hedge your bets. Sometimes the plans don't go according to plan, right? The last one says delay or defer a solution. If you're having trouble finding a good solution that meets your goals, slow down and delay selecting a single course of action. Delay it. Maybe get back to it. Delaying, procrastinating sometimes does not mean that you just don't want to tackle it. No, you're just taking some time to observe. And when you get back to it, you may see it with a whole different angle. It's really important. Okay, so let's see what people say. Tawana saying, taking credit for successes helps me stay motivated and encouraged. Just remember to celebrate the small victories. I agree, Tawana. It's good to celebrate every victory and just to know how important it was. Try to even write it down. I work at the airport, Andres says, and there are different problems every day. Adaptation is key. You have to make sure to adapt to the situation and solve the issue accordingly. That is correct. I like that. That was really good, Andrew. Working in retail, says Karen, I had to adapt working with different customers. Sometimes I have nice customers, other days rude customers. I have to approach both of these type of customers calmly. Yes, Karen, actually, that's great you say that because both of them give you different outcomes, but you still have to be calm when you speak to them. And you try to adapt, right? And you always try to stay consistent. Sonia says, in my workplace, nothing ever goes according to plan. I am always having to adapt to new ideas, new options from the others, and I'm working with them on a project, managing my time, my thoughts, staying one step ahead if I can. Thank you, Sonia. And I'll tell you this, if everything went according to plan, if everything was easy, they would not need you. And I can tell you this as a business owner. If we could hire a computer to get your job done, you're probably not going to be hired. This is why your new value is to do different things right. Because computers can do pretty much one thing right. But different kinds of things and using your head to have good decision-making ideas and concepts, you're going to be invaluable because the world's not really one thing. So Lauren says, at work, we have been planning on moving into a new office for months. Today, we found out that it's not going to happen when we thought it was, and we all had to adapt to a new work environment. Luckily, we had a backup plan set in place. Working out of the boxes isn't easy, but we're making the best of it. Thank you, Lauren. You absolutely put the entire objective that we just spoke about into one paragraph. I really appreciate that. That was very good. Okay. And then the last one is going to be identify ethical issues. Most decisions have ethical dimension. So you should identify and consider the ethics of each decision you make. You have to realize what ethics means. Ethics is not necessarily right and wrong, according to Professor Puente. Ethics is what should be right and what should be wrong, especially on our industry, in this case, business overall. What should be right and should be wrong changes from what's right and wrong, because what we understand is that there's really multiple rights and wrongs. But what should be right is what we can come up to an agreement, okay? It's really important to understand that part. Everybody has their own thoughts on morality, but we try to come to an agreement, and those are guidelines that we all try to adhere about, okay? Compare cost and benefits. Your solution can create both benefits and costs for yourself and others. So-called tough decisions include elements of both. It really does. Cost and benefits. How much one costs you, what benefit you're going to get out of that. So remember, this course teaches you how to make tough decisions. If you kind of just go through this and understand what you're trying to do, it can actually help you in the future. Consider other people. Decision frequently affects others in an organization. Yes, people will remember how you treat them long after the problem has been worked out. So be real careful how you do everything, because they don't necessarily see the result, but maybe the way you got there. Serve the broad interest, because you have yours. But if you can be the biggest win-win, the biggest broad, you're probably going to be okay, and people are going to be happy for it because people are affected by it. Try to serve your broad interest. And last one, be true to yourself. Make sure when you solve a problem, you can contribute to your reputation, either positively or negatively. So it's saying every time you solve a problem, it goes into your reputation. It absolutely always does. Not only will you be judged on the success of your solution, but also the steps you took to accomplish. Again, not just the result, but how you got there. Because you know what? If you made a decision and it was lucky, you're not going to get much credit. But if you made a decision and you can know exactly how you got there and how you can replicate it again, all right? That's it, guys. Please put in any last things you guys got to say. Tawana says, own 2 homeless shelters, and I'm in the process of opening a 3rd. So there are daily problems every day, some on a business level and some on a social services level. This can be very trying and difficult. I try hard to manage my time and prioritize jobs, and even problems in the residents have that. Well, let me tell you, Tawana, that's really good to hear. I'd love to know more about what you do. And those decisions you make, Tawana, especially the part that says, hey, you own these homeless shelters and you're opening up a 3rd one, they affect your customers. They affect your stakeholders. And it's good to see that you're making these decisions and they're not just for simple homework or simple class that we're doing, right? It's very, very interesting. Thank you, Tawana. Serena says, I have had to make tough decisions. And I've learned that we have to think realistically and not make our decisions based off emotions. Very right. You have to think of the good and the bad, benefits, costs, in order to make good decisions. It's very true. And that's it, guys. I really think there's other situations that you guys may want to read or not. But that's absolutely all for today. There is a quiz. Unfortunately, I don't have the quiz questions yet. I'll have them by tomorrow. So I'm not able to kind of give the quiz review I wanted to give. But I may kind of have some little bit of a review sheet next to it so you guys can kind of look up. All right, but that's all. Have a good night. And let me tell you, I think the Astros are playing. So thank you for spending your time with me. Even though, they're in the World Series, it's such a big, big event for Houston. So let me know if you have any questions, guys. And thank you for those who came out. Nice to see you, Tawana. And great contribution. Thank you so much, Tawana. Hopefully we'll see you back. I know this was your first time. Have a good one, guys.